Hello and welcome back. We are joined by two incredible friends of mine that I've had the honor to not only meet but also play TTRPGs with in the past. Because technically it does count that I have done TTRPG with Damon for The Crowned, which is actually a game that you are the co-creator of, which is so freaking cool. But I'm not going to introduce you two. I'm going to let you introduce yourselves because you're going to do a better job than I will. So let's start to my... I can't do directions. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. That way. Damon, who are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me so much. My name is Damon Van He. My pronouns are he, him. And I'm a TTRPG writer, designer, creator, all of those things. Like AJ mentioned, I'm the creator of The Crowned, which is a game where you play gods of some itty bitty portion of reality, and you have total control over that throughout the game. It's super fun. And I'm really stoked to do some world building today.
Yes, we
That's
have
me.
a lot of
Yeah.
chaos to kind of sort through. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for joining us. And if and when the crowd stuff gets like full release, I'm going to promote the fuck out of it because it was so fun to play in. When we got to play at Gen Con, I played the god of post-it notes. Because yes, you can choose your purview to be as simple or as quirky or whatever you want it to be. And honestly, such a good system. Can't wait to showcase it. And then
Yeah,
over
thanks.
to my other side, that way. Who are you, John?
Hello, wherever and whenever you are. I am John, aka Phoenixiwaki, over here on the Twitch. We play lots of D&D and other TTRPGs, and it is always a pleasure to play with you. But world building today.
Yes, yes, I get to see into the mind of John.
Game designer with us as well.
Uh-huh.
No, don't open that.
No one likes to see into the minds of dungeon masters. It's not a fun place.
Into
But
the
yes.
mind of the future.
But yes, we are going to sort of dip into some world building shenanigans. We've brought the lovely John and Damon up to speed a little bit with what just happened at the end of that game number 4, where we have had basically a collision, of course, of kind between this world that we've been building over the last 24 5, 6, 7, 27 and a half hours with the Feywild, because a Fey creature, or a creature that came from the Fey, put on a black inky crown and decided that the best choice of course of action to defeat the gods was to trap them or entrap them the same way that the Olympians did with the Titans, a la Greek style. And then merge parts of this world with the Feywild to sort of bring a balance or an inherent merging of the natural world with the organic world with the natural world and synthetic world together. So that's kind of where we're at.
If we're going Titans and Greek gods, are mechanical clockwork owls now canon in the world?
Sure. Hell yeah. First idea of the bat. I'm going to write it down.
Was it?
Okay.
Was that like a messenger of Athena's? I forget. Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, Athena was owls.
There we go. That's probably, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So clockwork owls. I know.
Yes, we need clockwork owls and Harryhausen skeletons. And then we're good to go.
All the stunted movements.
I love it so much. So with what we have, so we're taking these gods and we're going to sort of seal them away, I guess, or put them in a place where they don't have as much power and influence. So this is fascinating to me because this would involve the gods that are kind of on the plane at the moment, which wouldn't be the god of gravity and consequence, which is this thing that's really changing things, but it would probably be the ones that are drastically changing things. So the god of, what do we call them? The Evergrowth, the mistress of Scion and Scythe, that has been sort of polluting and corrupting the world and trying to take it over. She's definitely been pulled and trapped into this. Some of the weakened gods probably as well. But I want to know from you guys what you imagine when well, you don't know much about this world, but what are the parts of the Feywild that you would like to throw into the mix here? Like, what are some things, if you know about the Feywild, or even just like loose things you might know about Fey that we could sort of adapt for ourselves and put it in there? It doesn't need to be canon Feywild.
After you,
Yeah, I got one.
Please.
The thing that I always enjoy games just in general are the bargains that come out of the Feywild. You know, always needing some sort of a deal. Kind of no matter what you're doing, you stumble into it, you have to bargain to get out, you have to bargain to get in, you have to bargain for all the things that you need. That's always been a real focal point whenever I'm running anything with the Fae.
Okay, very cool.
We had a great time with Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and I just the manner of some of those bargains as well. Like, it's just like, you know, it's like the color from your eyes, or like, it's just like just the not something material, you know, just they're so fascinated and focused in on these, you know, these abstract concepts and other things that you wouldn't think to be bargaining with usually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the abstract concepts, bargains, deals. Okay, what else do we sort of picture?
True names are always good too.
Oh, the rule of like true names having power.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Especially since it sounds like you've got a bunch of gods running around. If they've fallen into the Fae, they in theory would have had to bargain their way back to power. So, you know, there might be an opportunity to take some of the gods that have already been represented and like Fae them up a little bit.
Yes,
perhaps.
I love that. We could Fae up some of these gods. That sounds dope as hell.
Yeah, are they trapped, or are they transformed into Archfey instead?
Ooh, okay, so that they now have like conditions on them per se in the way that they operate within the world. That's cool. Okay.
Because you'd think that they would want to bargain their way out first and foremost, you know, but that could involve any number of things, taking on Fae characteristics, taking over portions of the Fae, you know, depending on how powerful they are, they could have little kingdoms cut out now. Or if they had zones in the world where they were already inhabiting, the Fae crashed down on top of that whole region then could have the blending of both worlds.
Ooh, cool. Okay. So what is
I said it before we went live, but I mean that goes back to what I was saying about the you know, the Eberron style, Keith Baker's style of the manifest zones, where there are zones of the world where the Fae is stronger and more, you know, more present compared to you know, other spots.
Okay, just transitioning. There we go.
Because you've had so much cool world building and things already. It'll be fun to have places where that still remains, and then to find these other spots. Yeah,
I like it. Okay, well, in that case, talking about Feywild locations, specifically, is there any that you know of, or is there any that we would like to create? So I know that, to be honest, a lot of the things I know about the Feywild have either been my homebrew or the homebrew from Robert Hartley, GM. I don't know if it's actually like Feywild canon in the D&D universes. So my knowledge of the Feywild might not be incredibly accurate. What is there anything that you guys know about the Feywild in terms of locations or like features that we could basically like pull from the Feywild and thrust into this world?
If you're wanting some political intrigue and that kind of like court influence and things going on there, one thing I love about most iterations of the Feywild, but especially with the stuff coming out of Cobalt Press, is the kind of contrast between the winter and summer courts. And then I know D&D like recently they've been moving away from it, but they used to just like straight up had Oberon and Titania in there. I think they've stopped using the names recently, but like we should be more original. Let's bring some of our own stuff in here.
We actually got a tweet from a member of Cobalt Press earlier in this 48-hour stream, basically saying we're tuning into your stream, we like it. Would you like us to send you some free PDFs of our like content. And the problem with that is I'm the one they contacted, and I haven't stopped streaming since I received that message. So I've had no time to answer and like approach them. So if you're still in chat, if you're still here, we would. We would love to arrange that. Send me a message.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Their Book of Ebb and Tides is amazing. That's all about. Yeah, it's all about the Shadow Realm, which is like where the Winter Court kind of, that kind of Shadow Fae and everything is. That's a really good book.
Shadow Realm Winter Court. That could be really fun to bring about. We do have an area of this world called the Frostlands, which is like a frozen wasteland that has been frozen for thousands of years now. So it could be really interesting to basically take the Fey Winter Court along with the Shadow Realm and just go plonk right onto the Frostlands. Like that could be very interesting.
You're looking for some Nordic culture, so it's breaking away from the wild for a second. But your fellow Aussie friends over at Ghostfire about to bring out Valican clans.
Yes, yeah. We're actually going to be doing some work with Ghostfire relatively soon, so I'm very excited with
fantastic.
that. Fantastic. Yeah,
yeah, they're such good people,
amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I write Kobold Press into this document? Anyway.
I just got a mental image of like this entire like newspaper industry, and it's just all these like kobolds and like reporters, printing presses.
That's actually really funny. I do like that.
The going to what Damon was saying about certain like zones and like regions that would potentially be like ruled over by these gods transformed into other things. If we're going canonical things, the new kind of look for the Feywild is these domains of delight. Which is what a lot of the Wild Beyond the Witchlight was based around. So there are these zones of the Feywild that are controlled by one particular Archfey, and they have very specific themes and connections to that based on the Archfey, and the conditions, like weather conditions and the general mood of the environment is based on the Archfey's mood and affected by that and all that kind of good stuff.
Ooh, okay. Affected by the Archfey's mood is really cool. I like that as concept as well. Let's put that in there.
Yeah, Feywild's great for like vast swaths of thematic area. Even if that area is ridiculous, like everything could be motley, like everything, like trees, ground, everything, just in those motley colors and patterns and everything like that. Like very, very
do I know how to spell
like
motley?
Wizard of Oz style, where there's harsh borders that separate these two ridiculous lands from each other. Very easy to just like see from one into the other. Everyone in one is all themed one way, themed another way.
Demarcated, it's like across the line there.
Interesting. I do like that because we did have some very separate landscapes and realms that we had sort of prior anyway. So basically I can tell you what they were, and then you guys can let me know what you think might manifest in those areas to do with those concepts.
Well, maybe that's one way to think about the gods being trapped, is they were sealed in the land, and then their like influence, their thematic kind of presence has seeped into the land. And,
I think that is
that kind of
amazing because we've gone full circle. That's how they started in this world.
Oh, really? Okay.
The continents were influenced by the fact that the gods fell from the sky and landed and like influenced the 6 different areas of this world. And they sealed their father god, the god of gravity and consequences, beneath the earth, underneath the mountains of the Sleeping Mountain, which is the mountain god, sort of slept atop the sealment. And so when we started game 1, that seal was broken and this god broke through. And now, sort of as reverse punishment, not the father god, but the other 6 are going to be buried back into the ground in their respective areas, or maybe in opposite areas. Maybe we can do some like combo stuff, like take the god of fire and throw them over to one of the other areas and sort of bury them beneath.
Well, that's a really cool thing about the Outer Planes, where if you're talking about the Great Wheel cosmology for D&D, when the 2 zones overlap and they have both of them manifested, like the plane of Earth and the plane of water overlap, and it's just this muddy quagmire, just like that kind of joint, and then is it air? air and water where it becomes ice and snow.
That's
I forget
really
the
cool.
combinations, but yeah.
Yeah, and I love that that's kind of what Rid was talking about, hence the merging of the two. They balance each other, so having sort of like this play with the chaos of the Fae and the others, and then each of these realms sort of building together and creating this new a mass of different sections. I love it. Also, I read I read something from, was it Kip? How about having new forms of ley lines or Fey lines where the Fey influence is strongest? People may set up shop along these lines or avoid them depending on what they do. So another thing that we need to determine as the world builders that are going to basically pass this on to the next game that I DM, is there a time jump? How long has it been since this happened? Is it instantaneous, or is it like, has it been a year? Has there been like 10 years? What has gone down in this moment? We don't have to decide that right now.
I think if we're looking to see influence of these gods in some capacity, it should be some amount of time that has passed. Okay. I don't know that it needs to be a ton, because calamity's generally pretty quick.
Yeah.
But if they're going to have some amount of time to spread into the land and have their influence kind of seep out, there should be a bit of a jump, maybe.
Okay.
It depends what you want the focus to be of that adventure. Do you want them to be dealing with the aftermath of that change, or living in the change after it's taken effect?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good point.
We do not know. To be honest, we do not know.
Dealer's choice.
We had one. The game that we just played was the only one that had a resemblance of a vague plot. We don't really have a plot line for the next game. Not even a brief description. All they knew was to make level 12 characters. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's all they know. So we can kind of make that ourselves. We'll see.
And how many more games are scheduled?
We've finished game number 4, so we have 3 games left.
3 games left. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so
just to kind of have in mind like trajectory and things like that for the world.
Unfortunately, we don't have the foresight of like game 6 and game 7 because after game 5, I hand over to a different world building group and go to bed for 3 hours and come back.
Right.
So Damon, what I'm saying is we shouldn't get too attached to any decisions we make.
Yeah, don't get too attached to any ideas. They will be relevant for game 5, and then who knows? Because in the game that just happened, they merged the Feywild with this world. So fascinating stuff. Let me bring about the different areas that we're working with, so that we know kind of what's up. So we have there were 6 different kind of areas. We had the Frostlands, we had the Great North, which was a giant forest to the very north of this world. On the other side of them was the Ceridian Empire, which was mountains. So those are also the gods. So you've got like the ice god, the tree god, the mountain god. Then we had the storm god, the water god, and the fire god. The storm god had like plateaus and deserty region that was plagued by storms. The water god ended up having these islands, 7 different islands that would sink below the surface of the water and come back up, and had a semi-aquatic race on it. And then the fire god had a bunch of volcanoes, and we loosely based a little bit of the latest area there. So that place is probably going to be still solid. Which was Cinder's Rest, it now exists there, a beautiful haven amongst the volcanoes. But the other areas are up for grabs to alter and change. So what do we want to merge some like opposing forces within those different areas, like burying the fire god in the desert, or making it unbearable hot in that area or something? Like what's the vibe? I'm gonna eat this food that got delivered.
If you had to pick the 2 gods who are the weakest, which ones are they?
The weakest gods?
Because I'm a sucker for a team up.
Okay. So, as we left off, the two that were the most powerful, because they were sapping magic from the world itself, was the ocean god and the evergrowth. So the plants and ocean. So the weakest ones would have actually been the fire god, who was basically admitting defeat and saying, like, I'm going to pass on and I'm going to bestow the flame within the individuals of this world instead, and was bringing about, like, fire as a source of enlightenment to the people of Cinder's Rest. And the other one that was very weakened was the sleeping mountain. So the mountain god was bringing to rest. But if you combine mountain and fire, you get volcanoes. So lava?
Yeah. I mean, and I don't want to undo anything that players have already done. So if they've, you know, spent a bunch of time calming this fire god down, I don't want to retcon that or anything.
They did not.
But I mean, I like the thought that a couple of these gods would have landed in different places, and those places could have been near each other, requiring some kind of a team up to get out or to re-exert their influence on the world. Might be kind of fun to play with.
Yeah.
If that imparting of the spirit into the folk of Cinder's Rest has brought about, like, a stronger church to those gods again and belief in the gods again, maybe we arrive at a time when the belief in them is starting to strengthen them once more.
Okay. Yep.
If they're coming back.
There was also the other possibility here that, like, the people of Cinder's Rest got given the ability to have magic and enlightenment themselves, so removing that god and moving it to a different plane where Damon was talking about the anger doesn't necessarily drain from those people. They have their own, like, source of magic and enlightenment now. But now the god is angry. He's like, I was just in a haven that I've created, this awesome place. I was gonna die, I was gonna be happy, and now you've just upheaved me into this other area. So I kind of really love that. But where do we think we put the fire god? Where are we going to bury them and have their essence sort of seep into the landscape and change things?
I think the desert, this kind of desert area sounds interesting.
Okay. Plagued with storms and fire. That sounds fun. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm down for it.
Starts manifesting as those kind of, starts being whipped up by the storms, and I mean, unfortunately in Australia, the wildfires and things that have been happening there, that we can see the effects that has, very viscerally, and just the fuel that gives and the energy that gives to that. Do we think the gods can draw power from each other? Like that?
I think we have talked about the fact that they can. That's why they are in conflict with each other most often than not. So team ups and, like, enemies amongst themselves would be common. It just hasn't happened for such a long time until now, because now it's like every god for themselves, I guess.
Would the act of establishing Cinder's Rest and the fire god relinquishing some control weaken them enough that they could be harnessed rather than teamed up with?
Okay. By one of the other gods?
Yeah. If we are safety-wise getting into that much of, like, non-consent from an NPC, but if like as a battery almost harnessing the fire god.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take what Rin has given us. So the gods, the weaker gods and the gods that were there get trapped / sealed. How do I do sealed? Never mind, that's wrong. Sealing something rather than like a seal the animal. How do I spell that? Anyway,
I think it's still the same.
Same,
yeah.
I just lost my mind for a second. Okay, so the fire god gets trapped / sealed.
You've been doing this for a while.
And becomes almost a battery of fire / light magic that can be
Divine
harnessed.
spark.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then
divine
if the
spark.
storm god gets that, that would just shift the flavor of those storms to, like you were saying, John, like yeah, much hotter wildfire kind of situation. You know, as you get closer to the epicenter, there could be like fire, tornadoes, and a bunch of nasty weather for everyone to have to deal with, or not be able to deal with if it is too bad to actually get in there and do anything.
And if it's in the desert, it could create some cool like biomes of like glassified sands. Yeah, it's been just melted.
Okay, keep that idea somewhere because I'm typing something else.
Yeah,
but the glass thing is very cool.
Like a glass, like a whole glass region, like touched by the Fae would be pretty neat.
Yeah,
that would be a very fun place to play.
Okay.
Fun place to run a game from. I don't know how fun it would be for the players. It sounds horrifying.
Glass City? A city of glass?
Yeah.
Okay. A city of glass that is Fae touched / ruled by Fae in the desert desert region plagued by
finish your first course first.
By electric storms. Okay. And raging fires.
You could push even further, so the countryside, you know, if there was any farming or anything like that, like all of that could have been, like, if everything was turned to glass, like Flash turned to glass, all of those things would still be out there. They're just glass now.
Ooh, okay.
Are the people still around? Sure. Are they glass too? Probably. Like, you could just, it could be super weird. If you want to go super weird, just make it all glass. Everything they mean is glass.
I like the glass fields as a concept, like wheat fields that were just struck and turned into glass and crystal across the
which are now
fields.
Incredibly sharp to have to get through.
Yeah, and getting kind of like a wind chime sound as they kind of shift and like get
blown.
Oh
yeah, I love that.
Just like just ringing out.
Cat Darkness says, I think I might draw this glass place. Please do. Cat Darkness is very good at artwork. And if you do draw it up, I'm not putting a time limit on it, but if you do draw it up, we will showcase it on this stream later down the track. Because I think that's one of those things that you're going to world build and that's staying for the rest of this stream. I don't think we're going to completely destroy the City of Glass. But I love the glass fields as well. That's cool.
The Archer, anything that gets fan art gets to stay in the world.
Yeah.
Canon. That's canon.
Confirmed.
That's a rule. Okay. Glass fields that are incredibly sharp.
That's a good natural obstacle to have as well, yeah.
To traverse through. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And also becomes a little bit of a protection for this new Fae kingdom / pocket that has opened up in this space because they've just been surrounded by glass structures and glass fields that sort of keep the mortals or the other non-Fae at bay as they start to take over.
I imagine it'd be really hard to look at it in direct sunlight.
Ooh.
And then I also imagine it would be very disorienting to look at it at night. Like you would have a bunch of like illusions that could play out if there weren't any sunlight. And then if there was, you know, you'd be at disadvantage, like going in perception wise, just because it's so reflective.
I love that.
You get your Bruce Lee mirror maze moment. Because I mean that's the thing my mind jumped to is mirrors when we were saying about glass there. So like maybe the Fae there, I don't know, my mind jumps to the Snow White kind of magic mirror. Kind of using that like, for scrying or communicating.
There's like power in reflections.
Yeah.
The Fae having
like that.
Tapped into that. That's cool. Difficult to look directly into during daylight, and bizarre / what was the word you used for that? Bizarre / disorientating?
Disorienting, yeah.
They had there were cool spoilers for Wild Beyond the Witchlight. There were cool stained glass guardians in that as well, where they were stained glass windows, but then if something triggered it, they would detach themselves and defend.
Ooh, I love that. Oh,
I think we're
going to the city of. I think we're going to the city of glass for this next game.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. Yeah. I'm also picturing like the Shrike from Hyperion. If you've read that book, it's just a creature of spikes that just wanders around and follows these astronauts. So just having like very nasty. All of the enemies would be sharp. I would imagine, if the Fae has caught up with this glass plateau and the storms and everything, it feels cranky to me. I would imagine that the Fae are not super pleased with the sharp edges of everything.
There's also the conflict of that, the other side of that the Fae embrace it and the mortals are like, what the hell is happening over there? That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, they could really enjoy being sharp and
they're all angular Fae anyway, and they're like, yes, you humans can't walk through glass. What are you talking about? I love the idea of this spiky creature, and my brain went to an enlarged caterpillar made of glass.
Great. That's cool.
Love it.
So we got stained glass guardians
with all those little
giant
hairs along its back, being like the wheat fields that are out there. Yeah.
Okay, that is very cool. We've got a little this sort of section opening up, and the power of reflection from John in terms of like magic.
I love this fella. Speaking of caterpillars, look at that guy.
Oh my gosh.
I just had that photo saved on my phone forever. I was like, I have to use this at some point. It's like the markings on its head are just like a skull. It's crazy. You little boy.
Yeah, those are
great.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, so the power of reflection for scrying, message, so on, etc. So spells and stuff like that. That's very cool. So we know that the city of glass, and the fields of glass. I think we have like a city of something, or the whatever we call that city, and then the fields of glass. I like as something I've never heard before. Like I've definitely heard city of glass before, but fields of glass I haven't. So giving a name to the city and then having the fields of glass sort of surrounding it with these giant caterpillar things would be really cool. Okay, so that's happening in the realm of the storm god, which is the desert region. There's this like horrifying raging storms in a glass city and all the chaos that comes with that, with now this like court of Fae. What type of like Fae court would we assume that would be? We're using glass and like reflection magic and stuff like that. Because it doesn't scream winter to me.
I think maybe it would be like a focal point for the kind of the balls and the grand like functions that they have, just like the kind of decorative nature of the environment. Maybe it's neutral ground where the two courts come together for events.
Okay, so this manifested in this area rather than like it was a court sort of came here and the glass happened at the same time. Like it was a city that existed prior. Okay,
so I feel like it could be particularly vain and self-centered with everything, with all of the mirrored surfaces and everything. I would feel that the Fae would really lean into that given the opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Like beauty being the thing.
Yeah.
You guard your reflection as close as you would guard your name, your true name.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that.
Guarding your reflection as much.
I'm picturing the Fae, probably not all of them, but the powerful ones that are kicking around. They could have their reflection be separate from them, like Peter Pan's shadow, and the reflections could wander around surfaces of glass, reflective surfaces, and do other things while they are holding court.
maybe that's a hook for the adventure. Like a powerful, like high level Fae has lost their reflection, or the reflection's been kidnapped, or the equivalent of.
Or taken the PC's reflections.
Yeah.
If we're starting close to here.
That's cool. The powerful Fae have their reflections separated from them like Peter Pan's shadow, that can wander through the glass/mirrors at their own volition, whilst the Fae hold court. I love that. Very cool. Okay. I love this area. I think we should hop to some of the other influences in this world as well, and then we can come back to the city and really like start fleshing it out. But we need to kind of work out what's happened with the rest of the world, because this is amazing and I love this area. There's been a lot of like influence in this continent, which had a theocratic society. So with the gods kind of being trapped and changed, this society I would assume would change drastically, especially if Fae rocked up all of a sudden. So that's going to be interesting. And then I think you're right. I think we need a little bit of a time jump in order to have that sort of transition to the beginning of like not peace between the Fae and the mortals, but like relations starting to be broached, kind of that era. I don't know how much time that would take, but like, you rocked up in our world, now we need to like reach some sort of agreement here, because you're taking over our place and we're taking over your place, and let's talk about it rather than killing each other.
And I think because every game and every session does affect things so hugely, I think it bears well to spend some time in each iteration of the world. So it is good to have that kind of time jump, so you can actually see this little pocket of the world as it's kind of starting to relax into itself before it's violently changed again. I think with the Fae connection there, and the whole Feywild connection there, we got to have a good bunch of hags in here.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
So is that what took over from the theocracy?
Oh, the hags.
Is it like a hag court, or with the burgeoning of like natural forces and that kind of focus? There is a druidic like council or something that's taken over.
That's cool.
What happened with that kind of that corrupted area that they were fighting before they got to the tower in that last session? Is that still? That exists. Was it destroyed, or was it? Oh, that's still around. Okay.
I think if you were to trap that god, it would all go away. So that the Evergrowth being trapped below the surface, and sort of their power being held back, that would also start to slowly seep away from the world. But I just had a thought of like, I want to put hags in an area that you wouldn't expect them in, and sort of my mind went to a little bit of I think it might be Greek mythology, but like there's an island where like there's a beautiful woman and she like lures people in to the island, and I was thinking of still the hags as we imagine them, but putting them directly in those like islands in the center and make them more like island hags, like oceanic sea hags. Is that a thing? I'm unsure.
Yep, they exist. Yeah.
Nice.
The weakest ones, but get a coven together.
Well, if we get like 100 of them living in the islands, that would be horrifying, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big hag
oceanic sea hags living
is there a way to tie them to the ocean god that you were mentioning before?
Yeah.
If that god is particularly powerful, could have juiced the hags a bit to make them more formidable.
Yeah. I like that. So if we use the same sort of concept as the fire god becoming like a battery of source, once it was buried, like you can tap and use their magic, but they can't do anything about it. We could do the same thing with the ocean god and sort of like have them in the ocean, unable to do anything about it. And the hags now move in, reside on these islands, and sort of draw the magic from the ocean god. That's cool.
I like that.
Yeah, kind of some sort of ritual that's kind of siphoning that off.
Ooh, a ritual? Okay, what kind of ritual?
I think just the way that hags just, kind of pervert nature and like will just twist it to their own designs and use it for themselves in quite a selfish way most of the time. So I think some sort of connection. I don't know. I got my mind's really there's a great one shot called Down Came a Blackbird, and there's a hag connected to that, and it's inside a reanimated undead whale. That's the hag's lair.
Okay.
That's great.
That connection, that kind of almost necromantic connection through, because everything washes up on the shores, right? Everything comes up onto the shore. So some ritual using bones and driftwood and just everything that comes from the ocean, bringing that together and into a ritual to take the actual power of the ocean as well from siphon the god's energy.
We were talking a lot about like pyromancy in the Cinder's Rest, where the people there, because it was all about fire and enlightenment, they were using like the fire themselves to cast like divination. I imagine these oceanic sea hags like throwing bones into a bowl and like carving up fish and being like, that the guts of this fish are telling me this is gonna happen. Like it's very gruesome and like just a lot of fish and guts being used for like rituals and stuff. I love that.
Yeah.
As a visual.
They can even like call ocean beasts up to the shore for specific divination purposes. If they can summon like a whale and then use whale entrails to tell what's going on, you would think that, at least in my mind, like the size would equate to more power and like more witches having to work in tandem to make it function. So one of them could do fish and use those bones and entrails for divining, and then 100 of them could use a whale to do larger rituals with it.
Yeah,
depending on how gross we want to get with things. I always like being really gross with it. So
yeah, fair enough. I like it a lot.
But yeah, you could just have like make whatever ritual zones or circles that they need out of whale parts.
I also love the idea that so Fae, to me, some Fae are not about beauty, but these ocean hags are giving me very like sea siren-ish vibes. The calling of like, but to have the juxtaposition of the absolutely gross nature of how they cast this magic, of like pulling these sea creatures onto the shores of the sand and slaughtering them and taking like mile-long entrails of these whales and stuff, and then like consuming parts of it and like refreshing themselves into these beautiful, stunning, gorgeous women is like, ugh. I hate that on so many levels. Yeah.
I think
amazing.
There's often I forget which of the hags it is, but there's definitely one of them that likes to suddenly reveal their terrifying like true nature as a way to disorient and catch opponents off guard as well. So that's like an ability that could be there.
Okay, I love that. Beautiful sirens. Okay, and then they use the quickened dropping of said or do we have them actually transform into the beauty, like it keeps them young and beautiful, like the what's that Heath Ledger movie where they get into a horse?
You think the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus?
I'm not, but there is also a horse thing in that one. No, it's the It's the one where there's 13 girls that get sacrificed for the old hag in the tower to become young and beautiful. They're like fake, paranormal people, like the two brothers that they.
Oh, it's the Brothers Grimm.
Brothers Grimm. That's it.
Yeah, it's Brothers Grimm.
That's it.
And it's Matt Damon in that, isn't it? It's Matt Damon, and is it Heath Ledger?
Is it Heath Ledger? I thought it was.
I can't remember.
Can't remember. I have to look it up now.
Okay.
must know.
Same. Please look it up for me as well.
Sorry, I can only think of Tangled. It was like
using
the power to change.
That's also another one. Yeah. So they actually like change unless you kill them.
Yeah, it's Heath Ledger. You're right.
Yeah. Back in those days, before
he's got real
died?
short hair.
I don't know where I was going with that. I'm so sorry. I was like, back in those days. Okay. AJ, get some sleep. Yeah, he's short hair, and it's a very good movie. It's very influential in my brain for some reason. They use the quickened dropping of their hag visage to scare people when needed. I like that.
Or if you're saying it does actually physically change them and revitalize them, then perhaps, adventurers disrupting the ritual and stopping them from doing whatever they were doing has this as a late, if you're in combat with them, then keeping this rejuvenative properties from them makes them revert back into that form, like as a it's like now I took my final form. It's like the
okay.
Theros, the mythic odysseys of Theros kind of epic level final thing. I've never actually done that to any players yet. When you get to, it's like, instead of going to 0 hit points and dying, this creature regains 200 hit points and gets these new abilities. It's like, what? I don't know. I have to do something suitably epic and anime like that as well. Otherwise, I'll get chucked out of Japan.
That would be really cool. Okay, as a final attempt at survival is what I'm putting there. Cool. Okay. Awesome. So we know that the islands in the center are being influenced by these hags, and there's like a lot of them. So we're gonna put like 100, maybe too much across the 7 islands, but I feel like somewhere in the 70 or like over 50 at least. There's like a whole community of them.
You could put 9 on each island, and have 3 sets of 3 per island, just for ritual symmetry, I guess.
9 on each island. 3 sets of 3. Nice. I like it. It's giving me very what's that Halloween movie with the 3 sisters? Where they try and sacrifice someone to be young. Hocus Pocus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving me Hocus Pocus vibes, but on a tropical island. I'm liking it.
This is great. It's like Hocus Pocus meets like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good.
Meets fish guts.
Meets Midsummer. Yeah.
Sick. Okay, so
I would watch this movie.
Same. Okay, so we move away from so we've got the desert region. We've put some Fae stuff in there. We've got the islands.
Are they all sisters? Like, is it
all
huge?
All 3 sets of 3.
I love that.
Is there one like matriarch like at the top of the whole thing?
Oh, a mother hag.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love them all being sisters.
Yeah.
Across all the islands. Yeah, I love that.
They're all sisters. So it's like the sets of 3 are triplets. Ugh, gross. Okay, they have a mother hag. For some reason, I'm picturing a very Ursula like.
Oh yeah, like sea influence.
Yeah, sea influence, like octopi kind of thing.
Yeah, she could definitely be like an archfey that got dumped here. With this melding.
Yeah.
And just saw an opportunity and had a bunch of hags.
Yeah. That saw an opportunity. You know what I do love about that, and this is gonna gross out a few people, but fish lay a lot of eggs.
Yeah, absolutely.
If these oceanic hags hatched and like out of them popped like fully developed humanoid women. It's so gross to me.
What's great? I love it.
What is that thing that you get? They washed up on beaches sometimes. They look like are they called like something purses, like sharks purses or something like that. It's like it's like an egg, kind of. I can't remember if it's like, I forget if it's
like
seaweed
cuttlefish?
that looks like an egg. It kind of, yeah, but it's like a square thing. It's got strands on the corners, and but yeah, just like maybe if there's like a nursery of like the next if there.
Yeah.
Gross. I love it.
Well, like a hatchery.
Right. I just got the image in my head, there's fish that people they're young in their mouth. And then like it's like feeding time, they just like open the mouth and just like come out.
The hags are born from eggs.
Ready-made covens of triplets.
Yeah.
So
Ready-made.
I love it.
Covens of triplets hatched in the, what did you just call it? The nursery? The nursery below the waters.
Yeah, the kelp nurseries. Being like forests of kelp under the water.
Amongst the kelp. This like horrifying place just full of hag eggs. Ew. I love that this exists.
And there could be like just like a whole like jagged like bed of shipwrecks underneath, just like things that they've drawn into the doom,
Gotta keep those babies fed.
Right?
True. This feels like there's definitely been a bit of time before we jump into this story. Feed the hatchlings. Ugh. I love it so much. You know when it like freaks you out?
Difficult to type as good, yeah.
Why won't you know jagged as a word? Jagged. It's not good. Is that not correct? Who knows? Let's not pick it up as a word. It wants me to say jigged. For
different.
art reasons, what's the sky looking like these days, Winter's Tales? Okay, so in the sky, that's a really good question. I think that we need to have some sort of like Fae influence. Having it always be like a twilighty color would be really cool. And then we still have the mass of moon rocks that have basically started to be pulled in a gravitational force like a ring around Saturn, circulating this world that has colors of red, orange, gold, green, and blue. So that is circling this world, like a ring of Saturn. I think that's the best way to put it. No more answers needed there. Like twilighty sun. Maybe the sun itself has like a bit of a pinky tinge to it now as well, rather than like an orangey sun, and giving everything that sort of like Fey realm lighting. That'd be cool.
That's nice. It's a nice metaphor to have that kind of that transition point between night and day, being like this this transition between the material and the Fey world now. It's just like at that bridge point, that midpoint.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Can I get that list of colors in text form? Yes. Red, orange, gold.
You could have a different sun color depending on what zone you're in, whether it's Fey controlled or not.
Okay, that's cool. So the sun is a different. Sun appears a different color in each area. That's awesome. Very cool, very cool. What else? So we have the ocean area and we have the desert area. We have the mountains to the far north. What do we want to throw there? What kind of like
Is that in that
pockets?
frost area?
Oh, that's a different place, but yeah, the Frostlands is also a place to influence. I think the Fey Winter Court needs to like fully claim that sort of area.
Yeah, like
that'd be cool.
Full on Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Vibes. The mountain could be the remnants of the theocracy from before.
Oh, they ran. Okay.
in the absence of the gods, like the church itself could have taken over, shepherding the people kind of thing, and they could have consolidated power in the mountainous area.
Okay, I like that.
Which could put them, like, if there's any weird, like, I don't know, fey smokes or fogs or clouds or anything like that, like if you're up in the mountains, you could be up above that. Could be the premise that the church used to take all of the people with them.
Okay. The kingdom of Massadan evacuated to the north, northern mountains. That was home to their once rival country, using the mountains and magic there as a safe haven from the endless storms and glass city / fae. The glass fae? I don't know what we're gonna call them. I don't know what court they are yet. We just talked about the fact that they're like very vain and selfish, and that's most fae. So it's like, I don't know. If they don't even tell us.
If it's their own court, it could just, we could just call them the Court of Reflections. Or Reflection, period.
The Court of Reflection. That is dope. Okay. Nicely done.
And for the mountainous region, if there was people there already, because I heard you say it was a rival country.
Oh yeah, they're long gone.
But they're long gone. Okay. I was going to say it could just be jam-packed with people now up there.
Oh, that's also cool. All of the...
Whoever left, it's just very full.
Maybe the mountain area is sort of the only area... That particular mountain range is the only area where there wasn't a pocket of fae, and so there's a lot of groups of people that were part of like this mortal realm prior are all moving into that area to avoid like the conflict, the dangers that are sort of popping up, and then this massive the remaining citizens of this old world now have to relearn how to be together in this continent. That's cool. Okay.
Because if the fae is starting at ground level or sea level effectively and like working its way upward, that would be
okay. In the northern continent, to avoid the conflicts / danger with all the fae pockets springing up in the previous territories. That's very cool. We're going to leave the volcano area to themselves. I don't think they have a lot of influence. The Frostlands has sort of been taken over by the Winter Court, which I love. I kind of love a little bit of the lore with the Winter Court, with the Queen of Air and Darkness, I think is a little bit of the legend of the Winter Court. And when I did a lot of homebrew for that area, I sort of added the lesser courts that are in a little bit of the Faerun lore. It was like a blood court and a court of there was a court of stars, I think, and I sort of put those into the Winter Court as like lesser courts and made like vampires and all sorts of other little things that I turned into fae. So I kind of like the idea of putting some of those like very classical baddie kind of creatures, maybe giving them a fun wintry twist and putting them sort of in that area, including werewolves. Werewolves would be fun, or like creatures in general.
Gothic area, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Were creatures?
Brothers group.
Yeah, true. Creatures.
That Dimension 20 campaign where Renly Mulligan used all the different fairy tales, from
Oh my
real life.
god.
It was just incredible.
So dark and twisted. I loved it. Amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
What's chat saying?
For influences, that would be a good place to go. And then Abria Iyengar's Court of Fey and Flowers.
I love that. That show was one of my favorites.
So good.
Yeah. Pirate Fae, said Grouchy Monster as well. I think because we left off with the fact that one of the characters in Game 4 really wanted to be a pirate and to like rule the seas and was trying to fight for this crown, I think that we definitely need some mortals to, the ones that are escaping. There was a group that all migrated into this northern continent, and the others took to the seas and were like, no, we're gonna dominate if the Fae have taken over the lands, we're gonna become the dominating the seas. So I think that we've got pirate culture. I kind of really like that.
And are there like floating cities?
There are floating islands in this world as well, but we could also have like shipped joined barges, like raft cities. That would be really cool. Okay, I like that a lot.
There's a great like third-party supplement called the Doomed Forgotten Realms, which is the Sword Coast and the Forgotten Realms if none of the big bads had been stopped. So all of the canonical adventures like Storm King's Thunder and Out of the Abyss and everything, so the bad guys succeeded. And so the Abyss is all up in the material plane, and Tiamat's back, and just all this crazy stuff.
That's great.
And like one of the last vestiges of humanity is the Jarlaxle's group, Bregan Death, have collected this huge armada of ships, and they just have this big kind of floating city of all these ships like joined together.
That's sick. Yeah, that'd be a great
location. All the alleyways and like different split levels of different ships all like bound together.
Joined ships have formed an armada to protect against the outer dangers.
Hag nurseries.
The outer dangers and the hag nursery. Yeah, for sure. I keep writing a hog nursery, and that's just not the same.
The hog nursery, I like that too, though.
The hog or the hug, like the hugging.
Oh,
nursery.
the hug nursery.
The hug nursery. It's very different. Grouchy Monster also says, are there like weeping angels, or do they take permanence? Some Fae love to impersonate mortals. Mind your companions. Ooh, trickster Fae. I like it. I also love the idea of, like, if we do jump a little bit further in the future, like, imps are the people that you need to, like, make deals, like, the bureaucracy in certain cities, and it's like, oh, you need your passport to get into this Fae-ruled territory? Well, here are all the things we need from you, including your legal name. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, Jimmy, like, can you stop with this? I'm not giving you my name. I know that that's not going to be good for me. There's, like, all these imps trying to, like, strike deals and get people to, like, bargain their soul away and stuff.
Yeah. That's just worked into like daily life and haggling and stuff. I like that.
Yeah. I think maybe that needs to come from a city or a society where mortals and Fae have agreed to live together, and this needs to be like not where the story is, but a different sort of area where that has formed, and like the process of a mortal and Fae learning to live with one another in this like haphazardly thrown together maybe like semi-steampunky city is just fascinating to me. But where do we put it?
And what would be the new economy there of like trading favors and promises,
secrets
and these yes, always
always secrets. Oh, I love that. Okay, so steampunk city where Fae and mortal live together and have learnt to embrace the
Cultural differences.
Yeah, the chaotic cultural differences that come from that.
Best of both worlds.
I think there should be, the city should be bisected by one of the Fey zones that appeared. You know, we were talking much earlier about like really hard borders and dividing lines. And so one could have come directly through the middle of an already established city, and then the populace has crossed to either side there.
Okay, that is
fake Horta.
Amazing.
Yeah. But there would be like a whole chunk of the city that is just Feywild, like full crossover into the Fey, and you know, everything is changed accordingly over there.
Okay.
Still with the vestiges of what the city used to be, but like now it looks like Tim Burton designed the whole thing rather than like regular human architects.
Okay, I need you to write that down in a sentence because I don't think I can write that as well as you just said it. So
when you cross
cool
the lines,
thing...
it go like full Jared the Goblin King, where gravity just messes up and you start just walking upside down.
I love it. Yeah,
it's like it becomes a side scroller game like Mario Brothers, where it's like you walk through a thing and then you're up on the ceiling and you keep walking through the city. So there was a city called Viridian City, or Veridion City, that was like this hanging gardens of Babylon type place that seemed like this idyllic location, but it was also being like heavily influenced by that Evergrowth god that we had. If that god got trapped in the Feywild, kind of jumped in and they went here straight down the middle of the city, this territory became like Fey stuff and the other became where the mortals were, and they had to live together. And this, like, there was so much change in this organic city with all these plant matters and hanging gardens, but now like a whole industrial zone is sort of built on top of it to provide for everything. That is the coolest city that I can imagine. So I think we're gonna set.
That sounds pretty great.
Okay.
I got the urge to join the French for like true and green together, like the vrai vert. It's like a cool double V sound name.
That's cool. Can you spell that type-wise? Because I think that's a really cool
Vert is V-E-R-T. Vrai, I think it's V-R-A-I. Oh.
V-R-A-I.
I, and then V-E-R-T. Vrai vert.
Okay.
It's a nice kind of courtly vibe about the kind of French kind of style as well.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
So renamed over this time jump, renamed for Revere. So the Evergrowth.
This is like a terrible, like, I'm an English, like conversation teacher, in the day job. So it's like this the worst like direct translation. That's probably in French. That's definitely not how you say that.
Yeah.
Like truly green is not just the words true and green put together. But it sounds nice. You get the alliteration.
It does sound nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Recede. That's not how you spell recede. I don't know what I'm saying. Began to draw back. It's because AJ can't spell. As half of the city became Fey territory. The two cultures were stubborn enough not to
and it could have been that like the human half was just lucky enough that the Fae that dumped into the other half were more interested in cosmopolitan things than just like eating all of them.
Yeah, that's so true.
Because we got the sea hags on one end, so they were like, it could have been the other way.
Thank goodness it wasn't the sea hags.
The original people on those islands, poor them.
Yeah.
Instead, building atop the gardens, with a industrial cosmopolitan cityscape.
feels like there would have been like a fascination from the Fae with these like
Yeah.
human ways or these like immaterial plane ways. And it's like became fashionable to do things the material plane way.
Yeah. Picturing Fae like stunningly gorgeous Fae, like so beautiful that it's hard to look at, and they're just wearing like urchin clothes and boring hats because they think it is the coolest thing to just wear whatever trash
The
they
height
can
of fashion
find from the other side. Yeah.
I'm wearing the
Which
latest
is like,
mortal
I have found
gown.
a bucket.
No.
Yeah.
Look, I'm paying with money.
That's amazing. These Fae were fascinated by mortal ways and began to utilize and wear mortal things.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe not necessarily clothing, but just like other stuff as fashion.
This must also be a hat, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same shape.
Right.
What else could it be used for?
I have tied a boot around my neck. That's all they're wearing. It's just a boot that they found. Otherwise completely naked, but completely nude tied around their neck.
Yeah. Absolutely fascinating. Yeah, and then I think from there it has grown, or that may, if we don't base it there, that may be the setting for one of the other stories, and that will continue to grow and get more like technologically advanced or like steampunky as time goes on. But I love the fascination of this city. So I think that
contrast is amazing. Yeah.
There needs to be at least like, I want to say over 15 years at least in terms of like development of this, or maybe like around 10 to 15 years, because I feel like if the Fae rocked up, you would immediately things would start changing, but it's settled since then. So what is a logical amount of time?
It sounds good, and because there's still enough time for there to still be some areas of conflict.
Okay.
It hasn't been too long that the equilibrium is kind of resettled.
Yeah. Oh, Rin says, can I ask before I fall asleep, knowing that Amaryllis didn't want further strife and conflict, but wanted people and Fae to come to understand and respect one another, where do you think she would be in this setting as the usurper of the gods? Ooh. I think maybe back to the volcanic peaceful town of the Cinder's Rest as like a place to sort of lay your head and like rest with the thing that you did, and the people there protect you and hide you so that the usurper of the gods isn't found. The other thing I would say is either that, or you go to the Frostlands and sort of hide in the area that hasn't really been touched, and now the Winter Court is ruling. So people are like, don't go there.
Lose themselves amongst that large population that's gone up high in the mountain area.
The other mortals, I think they might stand out a little bit. They were Fae in nature.
Okay.
Originally a Spriggan. So. Yeah, let's go. I think I'm gonna say like hiding somewhere in the Frostlands, like where people just wouldn't go, because A, the cold weather, it would be hard to go to, and then B, the Winter Court residing there, which is not something that's threatening to your character, but something that would be threatening to maybe others to find you and sort of take revenge for usurping the gods. Okay, I need to write that down somewhere. Amaryllis ran to the Frostlands to hide. Yep. From those who were angered by the usurping of the gods, especially with the Winter Court now residing there. Okay. Very cool indeed.
maybe given sanctuary there in thanks for like this ability to now draw on the god's power and to have this new source of energy.
I like that. Sanctuary.
I mean, how do we think? I mean, is there one of these regions of the Fae that is
angered by it?
Yeah, like is like in uproar about being taken from the or the merging of the worlds.
Could be.
Which
what
zones have we not done yet?
The Great North.
Forest?
The forest.
I mean, that seems like it would be a good spot to put a whole bunch of irritated Fae.
Okay. What, pray tell, is in the forest of irritated Fae?
Well, just trying to build off that. It could be some, if there was a more like more cosmopolitan Fae region that got merged in with the forest, rather than like the old time like dark Fae kind of forest trope, going with building off of what John said, with some of them being unhappy to be there. If there was a city that they were in, that they were fine being in their like cosmopolitan life and everything, and now they are forest dwellers.
Would it be really painful to put the summer court? It's like there's a beautiful or even just like one of the ones that just wouldn't want to be there, like spring, and you've just been given this dark forest that was polluted by blood and decay, and there's like beautiful spring fairies and pixies and like cute little cosmopolitan babies are all thrust into this horrifying like blood forest.
Well, has that corruption that was in that last area they battled through, has that now infected the Fae as well, that ended up there?
Ooh.
So they've been taken from their beautiful, pure, like Fae wild environment and brought into this corrupted environment, and that has started seeping over into their members as well.
Especially if they were bitter about being there in the first place. Okay. So
and then that drives back into their feelings affecting things, right? If that resentment and bitterness that they had for being brought here has allowed that corruption to seep into them.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Into the twisted forest of the Great North. And
someone in chat said blighted Fae, which I think is a really cool image.
Yeah. In their bitterness were swallowed by the blight and influenced in its corruption.
I'm getting big, like the shadow corrupted area of Baldur's Gate 3 vibes there.
Yeah,
just that whole kind of like blighted forest there.
That's so cool.
Or where the hag is in the first act there.
The blighted Fae. Nice.
There was a prestige class in 3rd edition D&D that you could take that was the Blighter, and it was basically like a fallen druid, and they would have to, as part of your spell preparation, you would have to destroy certain acreage in a forest each day. Wow. And so it was just like about just being like just a pox on all of the plant life that was around, and turning a forest even more corrupted and twisted and dark just to prepare your magic every day. It was a really like grim prestige class, and I never got to play one, and I was always very sad.
Aww. Yeah. Well, if you ever come back to this channel or we have more stuff happening in this world, because the premise of this is that at the end of this 48 hours we have a new setting that we're then gonna utilize here at Winter's Tales for the next year until the 3rd Twitch anniversary, in which I don't know what's gonna happen.
Break it every year.
Break it every year.
Every year.
New
Smash
calamity.
Every year.
Yeah. We just make it bigger and better every year. We have some sort of event. Soon, like 5 years down the track, we have a whole week. A whole week of content creators joining in to destroy this world and rebuild it. That's insane.
You got a
I
question
just really
there,
like
chat?
evil druids. Yeah.
Right. Always.
Are the Fae themselves, as in the same nature as they were in the Feywild, or have they been influenced and twisted into something new by the negative influences, energy of this realm? I think the other thing we need to keep in mind is the reason that these were merged was in the hope of peace and prosperity, to merge the two like natures and have them learn to be on both sides of the fence. So I think that with this, I think the Fae and the mortals are both influenced in a certain way as everything is merged. So the mortals themselves, like some of them start to like grow antlers and like are influenced by Fae genealogy, and the Fae themselves start to take on mortal aspects as well as anything that was sort of like influencing this world in terms of emotion.
So you were saying about new potential races there. So you got like Fey touched and mortal touched. You know, that's that kind of that blending.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's getting very post-apocalyptic sci-fi-esque with like Fae running around who are mortal touched, which is sick. We're gonna end up with like a sci-fi world by the end of this.
Yeah,
I was thinking on the same lines as Eye of Night there as well. Yeah, that forest definitely is full of blights, like vine blights, twig blights, and the like. You know, those monsters from D&D.
Very cool, full of blights.
Yeah, some good tree ents as well, definitely.
Okay, for forest full of blights. If you can send me a list of any of those blight-related creatures, I can put them into here. The two realms are influenced by each other, causing some mortals to be twisted and changed in the nature or image of Fae, and some Fae to be influenced and altered to be mortal.
And that could have happened. That could have happened in the instant of merging them. So it doesn't have to be something that slowly appears generationally.
Yeah. I think that definitely, like, the merging of the two changed everything kind of very instantaneously. Everyone was trying to find their own footing of what happened. The mortals ran to the mountains and were like, I don't want to deal with this.
The hills.
And then, basically everyone started to find what this meant for the world in terms of, like, their placement and hierarchy. Yeah.
Do the crossovers become outcasts or like ambassadors, or again region by region?
Yeah, I guess it's dependent
on
the different areas. So we can check in on those different areas and see what we think for each. I think the one that's maybe largely untouched would be the Frostlands, since there wasn't a lot of people in that like frozen wasteland area. Right. Maybe a couple of like tribes of people that were like prevailing in this frosted wasteland. But the Winter Court popped in and were like, yeah, we're cool. There's like nothing to be influenced by. We've got a whole realm like here in this area. And then the other different Faes are like, what did we get out of this deal? That's amazing. Let me finish just this quick little write-up. Some Fae to be influenced and altered by, to be mortal, especially by emotions. Because I think I don't know, it's screaming very Vulcan to me, very Star Trek in terms of like, if a Vulcan was to like let loose on emotions the way that more like humans do, it's like a massive difference. I feel like Fae are so used to being Fae and tricksy and hiding things and being this way inclined, and then you give them basically a second puberty where it's like, hey, experience mortality. Experience what humans experience, and then having them be like, I don't like it.
Capitalism hurts.
Capitalism hurts. Yeah, why do I always compare myself? What is this marketing? So amazing. Hello, the Mandy is here in chat as well. Welcome. So good to see you popping in. This is absolutely crazy, and I'm loving it. There's so much here.
I The problem with like world building stuff is like, I want to play one shots in every one of these locations right now.
Yeah, truly. Like I've got stories brewing in all of them, and I had the same in the last world building, and then none of that exists anymore. So it's like,
yeah. I'm
but
just
the cool
coming up
thing
with
is,
all of these NPCs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Like
We
I'm
need some...
picturing a satyr who's like influence when the realms merged, just like gave him regular legs. And so he's just like a regular looking dude who's like, no, but for reals, you guys.
I'm
like,
a satyr.
I'm Faye. I'm a Faye. I know I don't look it, but I am.
That's amazing.
I'm really good at the flute. He's just a guy who's really good at the flute.
Oh my god.
Like, why else would I have panpipes? Come on.
Why else
Come
would I
on.
have panpipes?
It's in the name.
I love it. I also love the idea that a couple of the Fae who are like more elven in nature, their ears like went more humanoid. They're like, no, I'm an elf, I'm a Fae. Like, just don't look at my ears. And they like start wearing like wigs and like hats that like hide their ears, so they still look Fae in nature. Oh, there's so many cool things here. Okay, John, do you have to head off? Is that correct? Did we already get to the 2-hour mark? When did that happen?
No, not quite. Yeah, we're good for a little bit more if it's
okay.
If that's
Cool. Perfect. Epic. There's too much to like dive into with this. It's like, no, I don't want to leave.
Why go
AJ,
sleep and
don't...
dream when we can have dreamscapes unfurling right before our very eyes?
Mm-hmm. I know that feeling. I mean, it's rapidly going to approach midnight here, and then I'm still going to be up for a 3 to 4 hour game.
Don't think about it.
We shall see.
Right in front of you? What's right
so
in front
far,
of you?
I'm doing okay. I'm
Good,
awake
good.
and cheerful, and you know, we'll see how it goes. Okay. So I love the satyr who ended up with human legs after the merging. That is absolutely freaking fantastic. I love these two realms being completely influenced by each other in the hope of like unity, but having that lead to like potentially more problems. It will take a little bit of time before this becomes the new norm, right? You're not just going to thrust two realms together and then be like, haha, solutions. There's going to be like a little bit of...
There's definitely some like amazing like merchant NPCs as well that are just like leaping on, just like selling really mundane shit to their fae as like these exotic items and things.
Yeah, and also the other way, like you were saying, how there's like deals and bargains where they're like selling their eye color and stuff. Like there are mortals out there who are creating trade stores where it's like, oh yeah, okay, well, you know, if you want a currency that will work with the Fae, we need the first song you ever learned on the flute, or we need hey, how about you sell the greatest idea you've ever had, or the color of your eyes.
Voice.
Your singing voice.
There could be
Ariel.
There could be a Fae run pawn shop in in that city that we were talking about where you could go in and you could preemptively sell those things, you know, with the intent to come back and claim them at some point. But of course, you know, most people who end up pawning things don't come back for them because they need the cash more than they need the thing that they're selling, you know. So I'm just picturing like rows and rows of aisles filled with like jars with little swirling things in it, or ideas and dreams and eye colors and all sorts of things that you can come in and just like pick up as spell components, maybe if you're weird like that.
Okay, cool.
Speaking of dreams, one of the cool things from one of the other cool things from Witchlight, while in the Witchlight, was the Briganox, with these like little like mouse like creatures.
Ooh, okay.
And they're just mining in the hills there, because when mortals have dreams, they coalesce as gems in the mountains there, and they have the good dreams, and they have the dreams of evil people who come up as these corrupted things, which they were just throwing into a canyon in the adventure there. So we had it that some evil folks were coming there to steal those and use those for nefarious purposes. And So that's a really cool.
Ooh, yeah.
They had there's really cool like Gulliver vibes there as well. Like all the Lilliputians, these little because they could because they were so industrious and so hardworking, they could like slow down time so they could do more work. So they would like slow down time so the adventurers wouldn't be able to react properly, and then they kind of like put them to sleep or tie them up, or like just they're not good fighters, but they have these like unworldly abilities that they could use.
That's sick.
That's great.
Those are cool monsters, yeah.
That's very cool. Thank you also to the Eye of Night, who is sending us some Fae names that we can utilize as NPCs.
More names, please.
Thank you so much. Also, I love Midnight and Caraway as names. I need these
Caraway's
to both be NPCs. I want them. I think one of them has to be this satyr that got human legs. I'm also going to put at the top of the document, so we need to know sort of the rough idea of this. So it's been I want to say it's been 8 years since the merging. I think that's just under the amount of time that would be like peace starting to form. Of the realms in hopes of peace. Yes, the black crown was shattered and spread across the lands and seas.
There should definitely be a shard. There should be a shard of that in the throne of the Archfey in the Glass City.
Oh, okay. Where are we? Glass City. Okay. A shard of the Black Crown is lodged in the throne of the Reflection Court. Or the Court of Reflection. Throne of the Court of Reflection.
There could be a shard in each area, which is what's keeping the gods like trapped in the land.
Ooh, like pins almost. Like
so it's like
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
That's so cool. Okay. The shards. The shards of the crown act as pins to hold the gods in place in their entrapment. Nice. Obviously, there's more complicated things. You can't just remove a shard and the god comes back. Like it's not like a grenade. So, but yeah, I do love that idea. That's really freaking cool because that could sort of come into play with the world itself.
Speak of the holy hand grenade. Release the god.
What else do we have here in chat? Time happened. There is room for adventure. Yes. Okay. The yin-yang duality bringing into balance. Yeah, totally. Alrighty. Dead Like Me Dead said, good morning, has Pooples taken over the world yet? No, Pooples never came back, but I do still have the cute little turtle plushie. This was it became a familiar in one of the earlier games who was a very twisted and an evil little turtle who was making sort of eldritch pacts below the world, that never came to fruition because the world sort of altered and changed.
Well, going back to our first like full on like playing together, AJ, maybe Pooples is now a giant dragon turtle.
True. Yeah. Especially since we talked about the oceans being like big, large creatures and ocean creatures being summoned by the sea hags and stuff as well. So there's something there that could be relevant. I also love, we talked about at the very beginning, the first thing that the two of you said was the clockwork owls. I want to put the clockwork owls in our city that we made, this like industrial steampunky city. And I really want them to be like the way that messages are sort of passed around the city, like a little clockwork owl like flies to your window, sits down, and is like, so and so wants to talk to you, and like prints out like a little
ticker tape comes out. Yeah.
Ting. Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, I love that so much.
It's like, but you can talk. He's like, yeah, I'm giving you this anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, I could deliver the message, but no, I have a bunch of paper inside of me. You have to do it this way.
Yes. But why? No, don't question it.
It feels really nice when the thing comes out.
Receipts for everything. Receipts for everything.
Yeah, what is that feeling that mortals get when they accomplish something, when they tick it off their list? It's like a hit of dopamine for ticking something, for processing the paper out of my body. I don't like that. I don't like that you told me that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, you weren't
It's
correct
like a
to that.
CVS
Sorry,
receipt.
I thought AJ was referring to the rest of us as mortals. I was like, hang on.
Yeah, no? I wouldn't do that. This is amazing. Okay.
There's a certain point of the 48-hour stream you reach.
Where I start just like
accidentally
accidentally revealing that I'm not mortal. No, not at all. I am very good at keeping my composure. Actually, to be fair, at one of the other ends of one of the other streams earlier today, so not one of the other sessions, I accidentally was like, okay, we're gonna go the way that like humans do, and I said goodbye, and it was the weirdest way to like end the session, and people were like, AJ, did you just confess to not being human? Ooh.
Like, I'm waving with my human hand. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yep. Okay, so Viridian City being renamed. I'm never going to be able to pronounce this. Vervray or Vervray. Yeah, Vervray.
Yeah, Vray and Ver was the two. So I think.
Yeah, Vervray. I think was what we ended up being.
I think it was the other way, because I think if Ver was first, people would start pronouncing the T.
Yeah.
But
if you put it at the end, they would definitely pronounce that as well.
That's fair enough.
We can also just spell it phonetically.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to spell it in the English way. The Vray. How would I spell Vray?
Vray, V-R-A-Y?
Yeah. The Vray, and then I'll put a little apostrophe midway through the word so it looks fey.
Voice.
Nailed it, Vevray. Okay, and then we're gonna put the clockwork. I accidentally wrote cloakwork, which is also cool. Clockwork.
Oh, that is very neat.
Yeah. Don't know what cloakwork is, but it's
when that's when you hire an assassin. They're doing cloakwork.
That's cool.
I really like that.
Actually,
really
that's
cloakwork.
dope.
I love that
Cloakwork
word
is
now.
sick. We're making it canon. Okay. Cloakwork.
Witness the mind of a designer is like just locked onto that so fast. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hiring of shady dealings, like spies, assassins.
And if you need if you're looking for like a fence or a broker who can hook you up with some of those people, like you could say things like, oh, I need a cloak made, or they could be tailors. Like you could be like, I'm gonna go see the tailor and get a cloak, and that means somebody is getting hired to do a deed.
Yes. When hiring a broker to find this kind of work, one might say, but the first one you said was like, I need a cloak warden or cloak maid, searching
getting
for
a cloak made, or looking for a tailor. Even just calling them tailors, I think is neat. Using something that is going to come up in everyday conversation anyways. I think makes it interesting. You could overhear someone talking, because people still use real cloaks for like cloak things. Keeping the rain off and stuff. So
the messengers of the cities, the clockwork owls, they can talk because they're automatons, I guess, like automated. They can talk, but they print out the message like tickets.
It's like a CVS receipt. I'm picturing like it's miles long. It's so much egregious use of paper. Just
Yeah, I also
Dumps it all
imagine it
onto
to
the floor.
be, you know, when you get like a message in a cookie at a Chinese restaurant, and it's like that size,
Fortune
like so
cookie.
the paper is like this wide, and then it just keeps
It's a
going,
huge
and
strip.
it's just like
Yeah.
the way the bubble gum sometimes is when it's like rolled
Yeah.
up that way, and it's like
Yeah.
I love the idea as well. Like if you've ever worked in retail or as like at a store, and you run out of receipt paper, I love the idea that a clockwork like owl is sitting there on your windowsill and printing out the message and runs out, and then just goes. And you have to be like, okay, you pull out like the end of it and you put in a new roll of paper that the rest of the message comes out. I just imagine it's from like your aunt who is one of those people that just rambles and doesn't stop because the clockwork is recording the message and turning it into text.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
For some reason it's printed vertically.
Letters.
Just like
You have to read it sideways.
No.
It's just one line. Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's good.
What is it that messages were read like that? Was it like Morse code where it would come out like tape to read things? Yeah, it's kind of like that, right? Like tape messages. They can record the audio and then print out.
Maybe if they are like printed kind of like Morse, like so it's a selection of like dots, you know, like those automatic piano reels, things, that kind of paper there. Maybe if you'd found a message somewhere else, you could feed it into the owl and it would say what was on the message.
Oh, reverse owl, that's cool. Reverse owl.
Yeah, I like that.
Reverse owl. Yes.
You'd have to capture one and like hack it, I guess, for lack of a better term, like convince it to speak the messages rather than print them out.
Yeah.
Be a good job for an artificer.
That would be.
Yeah.
And feeding it back into the owl to decode. Very cool for the cloakwork. For the cloakwork, they've got reverse owls. We just know
absolutely.
it.
They're painted all matte black so they don't shine in the
they're like the ravens. The ravens are the reverse of that, and it's only been like brought about by the cloakwork stuff, which is amazing because we are sponsored by the Ravensridge Emporium, and I'm so happy to have like little clockwork ravens walking around. That's cool. Okay. Ravens instead of owls. Okay, so one thing I would like us to maybe finalize is with the Glass City, A, what we're gonna name it, and then B, like a little bit of the court that resides there, because I think what we're gonna do is have the players have to go and like escort a group of people to that location to like broker a deal or have like what's the word I'm looking for, a diplomacy meeting between this like Clockwork City and the crystal one, the glass one. I think that's kind of where I want to go.
Had someone from the Glass City ended up in the Clockwork City as their reflection, like in a mirror or in a shard or something,
that's
and they were
cool.
escorting them back.
Escorting the reflection back? That would be cool.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Like they showed up in someone's mirror and they're like, well, I can't get out of here. I am stuck. And so they're escorting the entire mirror back, like taking the object that has the reflection
back. That's cool. And dangerous.
How about there are forces trying to subvert the peace, and they're trying to get the Mirror City and the Clockwork City to be at war. So they sent them there. They've got to get this reflection back before
someone does something to
misconstrued.
It.
Misconstrued as like a hostage.
Kidnapping. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so a diplomatic mission failed. Diplomatic mission failed.
We're getting close to Christmas time. We've got to get the Die Hard references in there. The diplomatic immunity has been revoked.
The reflection sent to Vervray was stuck, or is stuck. You must escort the mirror back before the Court of Reflection suspects foul play.
And the people who are trying to instigate the war are trying to stop them from getting there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's like spies, sabotage, maybe even the Fae who use the reflection to sort of go and have this like diplomatic secret meeting was doing it without permission. Was like not a princess, but like a part of the house, part of the court, and sort of thought, oh, I could do it myself. I'll go to that city. I'll bargain with the person and it will broker peace between the two cities. We don't need war. And at that point, like as soon as their reflection left to go do that, it fucked up. And now this Fae can't get back and has hired this group of people, which would be also a really cool like calling point to call them all into an office and then have someone like reveal a mirror where this person's like, I need your help. That's so freaking cool. Okay, so there's sabotage at foot.
And like the background in the reflection is still of the Courts of Reflection.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
So
not
she
the same
could she could also be caught like in the act if someone were to see that she is like communicating with a different location. So you have to keep the mirror like covered, and she has to hide the fact that her reflection isn't at the palace or isn't at the City of Glass. That's cool. That's so cool.
Did her reflection do it on its own?
Ooh.
Like without her knowing? Like it could be someone of higher up in the court, but it could be their reflection that did it, not them.
And the reflection is hiding from the actual version of them that doesn't want peace?
I'm picturing the reflections all being pretty independent, and like if you and your reflection get along well, you can work together. But if for whatever reason you don't, then sometimes they could try and undermine what you're doing, or they could just do things on their own. They could just wander off and have whatever life a reflection wants to have.
Yeah,
and you don't have them any longer.
That's so cool.
And so the reflection wandered off without
to broker peace.
Without
Would it be cool if like the reflections themselves are a manifestation or sort of like the inner like thoughts and feelings of the, so like you know how we were talking about how you protect the reflection more so than your true name. If that's like your truth, like sometimes, you know, when people say looking inward, like you see more than you might present outwardly, like the what's it called, like the ego and the so these reflections, these reflections are like your truest self, and that sometimes is in conflict to how you appear or who you are on the outside. It's like what you are on the inside.
Where else than at a court where you're putting on the face and wanting to show, you know, the designed image rather than what's actually truly there. And perhaps it's the commonplace, like the common held belief that the reflections can't leave the city. And if it's found out that this reflection has gone to the city, then the other reflections will get funny ideas.
Okay, I did not write any of this down.
It might be that the reflections can't leave the city, like legitimately cannot, and this one was escorted within the mirror. In the first place, because if they have to travel via surface, you know, they could get to the edge of where all the glass is, but without more surface to take them places.
Yep.
Or at the very least, like within sightline, or you know, whatever, however the mechanics, you know, shake out.
That's cool.
It would be very hard for a reflection to get out on its own.
And that makes a great like sub goal for an encounter in the game, if they're so close to the city and it's like some final obstacle, and it's like the sub goal is to get this mirror in contact with part of the city, so the reflection
or even to see,
can go into the...
so the reflection can jump. Yeah, that's cool.
Because you always want that goal that's not just defeat the other
that's
the enemies.
Sick. That also does mean that the mirror, if it was transported here, that this person had help. This reflection had help. Where is that other person? Or that, like, the help that originally got them here? And is that the person that's, like, causing the havoc? Basically, like, dropped them off here and then was like, I'm not going to tell anyone that I did this, and we're going to make it look like it was a kidnapping of the queen's reflection or whatever. That's cool.
It may not even need any, like, active sabotage for it to look like a kidnapping.
Yeah, that's
true. Like, as soon as the reflection is out of the city, that would be viewed as bad, no matter the source of anything, you know? And if there's already strife between the two cities, a reflection appearing in the Clockwork Place is gonna cause problems for the Glass City, no matter what.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. That's sick.
It could even have been like some of the if they have any like house workers or house help in the Glass City, it could have been, you know, like some of the downstairs folk that were convinced by the reflection to, you know, put it in a mirror and take it.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a real, like, vibe of having some sort of court intrigue going on here.
Yeah.
Right, for the Fae connection still.
And also, since we've created all the danger to get to and from between these cities, which is sick. Sorry,
The encounters build themselves, like through that through that thing, because, like, you've got the environmental encounters, you've got the people working against you to get back. Why do they want to stop the reflection getting back? Is it because they want the friction?
They want the friendship between the two cities. Maybe
it could have even been
Verve would like to be independent of this court. Like, they are not necessarily a part of that court, but they definitely want to, like, break away and have full independence. And
if the Court of Reflection is a new court, and the other Fae courts that have appeared are like encouraging them to participate in Fae intrigue and politics and need, and they're like, no, we're our own situation, like, please leave us alone, then it could be a member of one of the other courts that has moved the reflection. Or it could be somebody on the Court of Reflection whose goals don't align with the Reflection Court, and then they're the ones that set up the move of someone else's mirror image in order to then, like, while they're still at home, they can be like, obviously this is a kidnapping. And, you know, cause strife from the inside. Like,
I'm imagining this, like, gorgeous like vizier to the court. This is like beautiful reflection, this stunning Fae gentleman who is the vizier, and is like, oh, I think this court member has been stolen, the reflection has been kidnapped, and just carving this story to get their own way. I just I love it. It's so juicy.
I now no longer want to do any session planning by myself anymore.
This is really good.
So we're just bouncing off.
This is also like, actually, some of the most fun that I've had on this 48-hour streams has actually been this session and the world building session that I had prior to game 4, where I had Mindari, Noman, and Devon from Total Party Chill in, and for the first hour we didn't stop just saying ideas so quickly that I didn't have time to write it all down. It was insane. So I think this process of, like, okay, how does the world change and blah blah, or throw ideas at a wall until something sticks, has been so cool.
I can picture
Genuinely.
that. So I've seen Nom and Midari on stream together before, and I can
Yeah.
exactly see what that was.
We had to get into the drill of putting our hand up to like suggest an idea, because otherwise someone else was going to talk. It was just amazing. So much energy and that enthusiasm for world building, which is just my jam. I love just like creating something and talking ideas and storytelling. And so I think when other people are on that level with you and you can sort of bounce ideas off and yes and each other, because I don't know a lot of world builders. I know a lot of writers, I will say. So writers can get very particular about their ideas, and I love them for it, but it's because writers are usually people who do it solo, and so they are in that mindset of like, this is my idea, this is how I like it. Yeah. But when you're in a world building situation, I find that you yes and other people's ideas so quickly. You're like, oh, I like that idea, and let's build upon that with this one, rather than, you know what, I don't actually like that. I'm going to do this thing instead. So it's been very fascinating to watch sort of like the semi differences between those groups. Because when I did my degree, I did a double major in creative writing and performing arts. And I was too extroverted for the creative writers, and I was too introverted for the performing arts. And so I learned a lot about writers and performers by being on the fringes of the groupings of people that existed in those worlds. It was fascinating. So many theories. Cat Darkness says, okay, Glass City art in Discord. What? You've already done it?
We get to talk about it, and I get to look at it as well. It's right here. That's
beautiful. What in the world?
Looks amazing.
Oh my god, can I show it on stream? Can I show it on stream? Let me know. I would put it up. What are you using to write this? Is it Notion? No, we're using Legend Keeper. Which has been absolutely amazing for this. And you can actually, if you do it correctly, because I didn't do it correctly, but if you do it correctly, you can actually share your Legend Keeper file, like the project, with collaborators. And so some of the other world builders that are joining us and helping out and stuff have been able to like read off the document and write there and things, if I do the system correctly. Again, I didn't awesome. Do it correctly for this stream, but that's, you know, each their own. City of Glass. City of Glass. Oh, we need a name for the City of Glass. City of Glass, because we said the Fields of Glass is what they're going to be called, but the city should have a name, right?
Are we going with is it just the Court of Reflection?
I think that's what exists there. Ooh.
Okay, because I know
a lot bigger than I wanted it to be.
In the Book of Eventides and stuff, they just, you know, the location is called by the court's name.
Ooh, okay. Guys, look at this. Look at this. What in the world? They're so freaking cool.
Yeah, that's great.
I love it. Thank you so much, Cat Dark _darkness. If you gotta go, they post a lot of amazing artwork in the Winter's Tales Discord as well. There was a recent one with a tree that I was in love with. I absolutely adore this like abstract conceptual art that they do, this art style, and genuinely said about a week or two ago, if I had the means, I would have hired them to come make some art for this world, and it happened anyway. So that's really cool that you were influenced to bring this city to life. Look at that. I love the steps into the city and that sort of like spirally glass look. Oh,
and the ring in space as well.
The ring in space and the sort of kaleidoscope of color that reflected off the ring in the starlight, which I guess is what Damon was talking about the disorientation when looking at this thing at night, because it is going to just reflect the stars, the sky, the aurora borealis that's happening with that ring circling the world. Oof.
We've got a suggestion in chat of kaleidoscope
for the city?
For the city name. I do dig that. Yeah.
Okay, that is sick. Yes.
But kaleidoscope spelled, you know, collide as in the worlds colliding together.
Kaleidoscope? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of down with that. And also, I have not also said refractia or refraxia. Oh no, that's rear at the end. Refracria. Yeah, that's cool. Let's put this in there. That is the Not the Kingdom of the Sun, the Stonepug City of Clockwork Owls. Where did we put the... Would have been at the top, right? Yeah, Quarter of Reflection. So... I'll put that here. Kaleidoscope or Kaleidoscope. Oh, also it was Kaleidoscape. Was what was written, Kaleidoscape.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Kaleidoscope is also really cool. I think Kaleidoscope. I think the city of the Kaleidoscope being the place.
It's just a very pretty word. I really like saying it.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think collide being the word collide is also really cool. I love that suggestion from John there. How do you spell collide though? That's the problem. Collide.
C-O-L-L-I-D.
Double L. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then oscope from the original word.
Yeah, that's called kaleidoscope. How does that look? Kaleidoscope.
Maybe it is.
I think we'll go with the original spelling of kaleidoscope. I like it too much to change it. Raiders, the Eldritch Scribe, thank you so much for being here. Welcome. You have joined us at just the opportune time. We're finishing off some world-building shenaniganry with the lovely John from Phoenixiwaki and Damon, the writer of the Crowned TTRPG book coming out in the future. I'm so keen because I'm going to be playing so many ridiculous gods, and you know it.
We go to print so soon.
I'm so excited for you.
Congrats.
It's going to be
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's going to feel so good. It's going to feel so good.
That's got to feel amazing.
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah,
artwork
it's
as well. You guys are
great.
going to love it. And I'm going to promote the fuck out of it. I swear to God. Like, for free. I will just
Thank
be
you.
like, let's play this. I've actually talked to Sarah and been like, hey, want to come to the Winter's Tale studio and run, like, a series? Because we could make that
Yes.
happen.
Yeah,
this
amazing.
studio would be so fun to be like, hey, want to play gods for a bit?
Mhm.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We were just polishing off this new iteration of the world. I guess the post-collision of the Fey realm into the realm that we've been working with for the last, what is the time now? 20.
No, it's been 2 hours.
Yeah. I think we could call the event the Collide. And then we get
Ooh,
to keep the Collide, and we still get the name Kaleidoscope out of it, and we get that little connection between the two of those. But yeah,
Okay,
I like the
it.
Collide.
The Collide.
And I like that method of making the verb a noun. It's like you're taking the verb and calling it the collide instead of the collision. It's great. It's just it just sounds just that slight shifting to the right. It's like
Okay, it's been 8 years since the collide of the realms in hopes of peace. The Black Crown was shattered and spread across the lands and seas. Then we have a bunch of different things that we created in this world. So many different things. We talked about the Domains of Delight. I don't know if that's coming in. Affected by Archfel's mood. Where are we at with this? Okay, so... Fire God got trapped and sealed and becomes almost a battery of fire and light magic that can be harnessed. The Divine Spark. The Storm God utilizes that energy and basically enacts revenge in the name of his siblings. I think the Storm God is the only remaining god. The Storm and Gravity are the only remaining gods now. The others have sort of been locked in place as punishment. There is a City of Glass that we've called Kaleidoscope. Which is Fey-touched, ruled by Fey in the desert region, plagued by electrical storms and raging fires. The landscape was flash-changed into glass. There were glass fields that are incredibly sharp to traverse through, difficult to look into directly during sunlight, and bizarre/disorientating at night. We also mentioned stained glass guardians, which, by the way, now that we have this plotline going,
Very cool.
dope. And the caterpillar, the giant caterpillar made of glass, which we should probably give a name to. Any ideas for a giant caterpillar of glass? Chat? let us know. And then we have the power of reflection, so reflection magic, scrying, message, that sort of stuff, with the understanding that this is the court of reflection, this Fae court, vain and self-centered, guarding your reflection as much as you would guard your name, your true name. And we also know that the powerful Fae, or the Fae here, can actually separate their reflections from them, sort of like Peter Pan's shadow. And they can wander through the glass mirror on their own volition whilst the Fae hold court. But that has led to some potential future problems. Caterpillar is so funny, Ricky BB.
Oh my god.
Glassworm's good too.
That's the winner.
Glassworm, that's it.
Caterpillar. Oh man.
Okay.
Shatterpillar's good too. Oh god.
It's very funny.
Shatterpillar? Oh,
Yeah.
oh god. Okay. I think it is a glassworm or Shatterpillar, which is so freaking funny. That's amazing. Okay. We also created some different areas of the world that have also been influenced by the Fae. We have oceanic sea hags living in the Salt of Strays, 9 on each island, 3 sets of 3, born from eggs from the mother hag. This is a very disturbing location. But it also led us to know that there was some pirate culture on the seas of this world now as well, where half of the mortals took to the mountains for protection against all this Fae shenaniganry, and the other half of the population, I guess, took to the seas as the only sort of safe haven from the landscapes being taken over and changed. The Winter Court now resides over the Frostlands. The Kingdom of Masadan evacuated to the northern mountains, pirate culture, and then our steampunk city, or our sort of more cosmopolitan city that was grown on the backs of the fallen gardens of Viridian, that is now called Vervre, which is where we're going to base our story. Half the city is mortal and half the city is Fae. They've started to join together and adopt each other's cultures. We've got things like the Fae pawn shop, a couple of different terminology like the cloakwork, which I love, which is sort of dealings and shadings, spies and assassins. We've done so much in the last 3 hours. I'm just reading this out loud and it's baffling me. What in the world?
You want to say as much as like I think, like the back room of that pawn shop could be where they meet, see the mirror.
Ooh, yes. Okay.
And your the satyr with human legs is the shop owner.
The proprietor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. The location for the meeting with the Fae is in the back room.
I think that satyr should be named Caraway because
we both loved that name. Yeah.
It's so good.
Fae pawn shop. The location of the meeting of the Fae is in the back room, run by Caraway. The
alleged satyr.
The once satyr. My favorite part of it. Well, the once satyr who was gifted, I'm going to put gifted in air quotes, human legs during the collide.
Trying to grow his leg hair as much as possible. Oh my god, legs back.
Oh my gosh, the idea that he
wears,
finds
hairy
bombs.
Pants. He just wears hairy pants because they feel comfortable. He's like, my legs are really cold.
Satyr cosplay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got snow pants in the desert because he's
He probably
cold.
wears tap shoes so he can make the little plopping sound that his hooves normally would. I love Caraway. I would die for Caraway.
Wears tap shoes.
Defy any party to ignore the quest.
Mimic the sound his hooves used to make. Poor baby.
So
wears fluffy pants.
Full on panpipes.
Because
they're always in a minor key now.
His human legs are always a little cold, even in the desert region. My cheeks hurt from smiling too much.
That was a good sign.
Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Well, we are kind of coming to a relatively good point with this. We've got about 4 minutes until the 20-minute mark to the next session, where I will need to like start basically going and setting up cameras and sorting out the players and letting them know the plot, the rough like mission that they're gonna have. So is there anything that we definitely need to locate in the next like 4 to 6 minutes? Maybe the name of the fae whose reflection has been stolen. Do we have we had a list of fae names. So the more feminine fae names, any of these ones stand out to you? We have Dorxalim, Naenoran, Yintharan, Bryron, German, Gatian, Pine, Tidal, Lightning, and Laurel. Those were some of the suggestions from Eye of Night. Any of those stand out to you?
I like Laurel very much.
Okay.
And there was that. There's that one kind of in the middle that sounded, had a kind of Welsh sound to it. That was I like that kind of sound for fae.
The Yin Farron or the Bryron?
The thing I'm trying to come up with now is like, would the reflections have a different naming convention for themselves?
Ooh.
Like, would they call themselves? Is there like a prefix or a suffix that would be attached because they are the reflection of someone?
Yeah, I like the prefix of having it be like
straight up the name backwards.
Or it's like
or the name backwards too. Yeah,
it's like in like whatever the name is. So it's like the inner side of it.
Yeah.
So like IN
be like in apostrophe
and then the name is the reflection version. That's cool. Okay. So we want this person to be called in Laurel.
In Laurel.
In Laurel.
In Laurel. That's lovely. I really like that.
Okay.
Got nice rhythm to it too.
Yeah.
I didn't write any of that down in this page. I have it all in my handwritten notes, so that's fun. Okay. So in Laurel, the reflection of the fae known as Laurel from Kaleidoscope. And then I'll add all of these quick notes to that section there. Very cool indeed. This is insane. This is crazy that we've actually done this much. I didn't finish reading all the things we made, by the way. There's more. Because we didn't even get to the spring court that were twisted in the Great North with the blighted fae. We didn't get to what was the other thing I realized I hadn't read? We
didn't do the mountaintop really.
Didn't really talk about the mountaintop. Or the fact that Amaryllis ran to the Frostlands to hide from those that were angered by the usurping gods. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this. This has been absolutely incredible. Is there anything that you guys have as a final like little mark to add to this world? An NPC name, a store in the Clockwork City.
So could you pop back to Overnight's names there?
Oh, the names of the fae that we got given? Yep.
Yeah, there's one that kind of just jumped out as you scrolled by just before, as like potentially the one that's trying to cause the war or trying to cause the problems. I think it's Sarken or Sarquen or something.
Oh, Sarken. Yeah, I like that one. That's cool. Okay. We put that up to the top under in Laurel. Sarken. The visage, is that what it's called? Vizier.
Vizier?
How do I spell vizier?
Oh yeah, good evil vizier.
I don't know how to spell vizier. The vizier of the court
of reflection. Yeah.
Reflection. How does this court work as well? Do we think that it's like kings and queens and lords and ladies? is there like princess? Is it a birthright, or is it more like through achievement? Like, do we think that Saken can become part of the court if he like earns his place? Okay.
I think maybe not a king and queen.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a new court, I'm trying to decide if there's deference shown to existing kings and queens, and so to like not like cause too many ripples right away, they would maybe be a lord and lady situation rather than
Duke and Duchess.
Direct, or Duke and Duchess is good.
That's cool. Okay, cool. Lord and Lady, Duke and Duchess kind of system. Okay, that's awesome. Lord, Lady, Duke. Yeah, Duke, Duchess. System of this court. To, in brackets, to not offend the larger courts.
Because if they're trying to establish themselves, they don't want to immediately look like they're trying to overthrow anybody. Would be my thought.
Yeah, cool.
Until they want to look like they're trying to overthrow somebody.
Yeah, until they're powerful enough to be able to do that. Maybe that's why they don't want the other city to sort of claim independence. They're like, no, you're part of our kingdom. Like, we need to be a united front against the larger courts.
Right. Then
that's
maybe a war with the other city would, like throw shade and like make the current Duke and Duchess look weak, so that Sarkane could petition to take over.
No, I love that. I love that so much. Okay, well, this has been absolutely freaking incredible. We gotta go set up for game number 5 that kicks off in 15 minutes time. Wish me the best of luck with, like you have seen, because you have seen me for the last 3 hours. I'm not prepped. I'm not prepped for this session, nor did I prep for the last one, but it's okay. We're gonna still tell a great story. So, in the meantime, Damon, who are you? Where can people find you?
My name is Damon Van He. You can find me at Damon Van He at a bunch of places on the internet. I'm also with Formerly Feral Games, and you can just go to formerlyferalgames.com to get all of our socials there. And check out The Crowned TTRPG when it comes out very soon.
Yes, we love that. And last but certainly not least, John Phoenixiwaki. Who are you?
That's John Phoenixiwaki. That's me. Yes, we play lots of TTRPGs, mostly D&D, but other bits and bobs. For example, tomorrow, on this side of the world, splitting the Friday-Saturday border in North America, we have the wonderful Candlekeep Mysteries tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow evening, our second assignment of Candela Obscura.
Nice. Very, very cool.
Excited.
I don't know so which of us ends stream first, but if we end, we will send our people your way.
Yeah. Likewise.
Yeah. That is absolutely freaking awesome. Thank you so much for joining me to the both of you, and thank you so much for being a part of this 48-hour Calamity event in celebration of 2 years on Twitch. This has been my honor to have so many people join, but especially for you two to join this world building session, because what we just built is the coolest fucking setting. I want to play it. I want to make stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, look, if these parts of the world stick around, I will get you guys both in a game in these areas for sure. Yeah, 100%. Alrighty, we're gonna go to break, and we'll see you guys in the chat in about 15 to 20 minutes. I gotta set a few things up for these peeps, and I've also gotta shovel down some dinner. So we'll be back in about 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere. And in the next game, we're going to be doing a giveaway in order to win a Sphinx Stationary campaign notebook from our lovely sponsors at Sphinx Stationary. So stick around for that if you want to win one of those. Yay! All right, let's go to break. Ciao for now.
Bye.
So long.